Well, hello and welcome to another episode of the Lending Podcast. We are your hosts here from Austin, Texas, Jeff Jones.
Hi.
And I'm John Burnham. Thank you for being with us today. And we are going to talk about how to start, when to start, and where to start the process for buying maybe your first home, maybe your fifth home.
Yeah. Yes.
And there's a lot of steps in the process.
Yeah. Well, thanks for tuning into the Lending Podcast. We love giving good information so you can make good decisions. You know, for those of you out there that are thinking of buying a home, we want this podcast to really be something for you that helps educate and give you that basic knowledge of what a lender looks for, what you're going to expect from a lender, and in general, how to best prepare and get the best house that you want for yourself. So I love this episode because we're starting at the very beginning, right?
Yes.
So if you have in your mind, man, I really want to buy a home, you know, the quickest you're probably going to do it from start to finish, from the day you decide, I'm going to buy a home, it's probably 30 days. If you have other challenges, it's anywhere from like 2 to 8 months.
Right.
So because you still have some work to do before you get that, you know, get under contract. And that's what we're talking about today, is getting that work done before you go into contract so that you are in best position to close with the best loan, with the best contract, with the best realtor, best lender, best team around you.
Absolutely. And so many of our clients come to us through our amazing referral partners, many real estate agents, business professionals out there, past clients, of course. And in many cases, they found the house first.
They found the house
They
first.
found the house, and now we need the loan. Now we need the financing. And listen, there's nothing wrong with that. We work with clients that are in that position every single day. However, if you're more of a planner, or you have some concerns, or you have just some general where to start questions, it is really important that you get the financing knocked out early in the process, right? Before you ever start looking at homes. Because invariably, once you're pre-approved, and we're going to talk about the steps of going through that, but once you know you can borrow 3, 4, 500,000 or more, whatever your sales price range is, which of course will help you figure out. But once you know you can do that, and you're teed up with your real estate agent to go out and find home, you're going to find a home, especially in this market. We're in a very balanced market, more so than we have been in years past. There are more homes on the market. There are more opportunities for you. So let's get the financing out of the way first, instead of finding the home and then you need the loan. And then what if there's some challenges getting that financing? Or our clients may think that they're approvable and may think that their credit is good and their income's good and their assets are okay. But what if that doesn't work and we have to pivot, and now we're already under contract?
Yeah.
Because we didn't go through the pre-approval process first.
Yeah. So for my goal as a lender is I don't want to give my clients any surprises, right? Surprises are terrible when it's one of the biggest purchases of your life. When you're buying a home, you're buying something that's very emotional. And don't do your heart a disservice by finding your dream home without knowing if you can afford it or even want to afford it. Because what we do as lenders is we match, you know, your buying power, how much you possibly could afford, but then we bring it to reality of like, what do you want your monthly budget to be?
That's right.
How much do you really want to pay every month towards your home? You know, and that's a very different scenario. So we will pre-approve people most likely for more, like 9 times out of 10, for more than what they're willing to pay. And that's just because of how our ratios go for our guidelines is many times you can go up to almost half of what your earnings are towards your home cost. And now that's, every program has a different criteria there, but roughly that's kind of getting close to your max. And most people don't want to spend half their money on their home, you know.
Monthly, yeah, the monthly, half your monthly income,
half your monthly income on your home. That's
payment.
kind of
It's a lot.
very big pill to swallow.
Yeah.
So,
and so we talked about that. And what you touched on is really important. So it's really 2 numbers. The first number is what's your max, and then the second number is what's your payment goals, right? So that's what you're talking about there is and occasionally we have clients that want to buy more than they're actually approved for, but most of the time, like you said, they're approved for more than they really want to spend. And that's a smiley face. That's a good thing, because that gives you peace of mind, that gives you clarity, confidence. When you walk into a home, you can buy it, and you're standing in the living room saying, yeah, this is the one, and I already know I have the financing in place. Let's start negotiating on the price, and let's write up an offer. And so then your real estate agent can help you through that process, of course. And again, if you've already been working with an agent and looking at homes, there's nothing wrong with that because your timeline dictates when you're going to start the loan process. From our viewpoint, though, we believe it is never too early to have that conversation,
Right.
to find out what's going on with credit. Maybe there's something that happened 5, 6, 7 years ago, and you think it's still affecting you on credit, but really that important or the weight of that derogatory has really it's passed, and so now your credit score is really way better than maybe you think,
Right.
or maybe it's a little less than you thought it was because of some recent credit events, and so you just weren't necessarily aware of that. So all those things need to come to light early in the process before, like you said, before you find your dream home and then realize, shoot, I can't do
Yeah.
it.
Well,
Yeah.
honor your own heart by not setting yourself up for that. I don't know what to say, despair of finding your
Disappointment. Yeah.
dream home and then realizing it might not be possible yet. And that's one of the things that I appreciate about you, JB, is you will roadmap for people. It's like, hey, we're not there yet at the price point you're looking at, but this is how we can get there with some work on either your credit, on some income options, way to get your debts down, and maybe we can push your purchasing power even higher. And that conversation can only really be done with your loan specialist. You're not going to be able to have that conversation with other people helping you buy a home
That's right.
because the financing is probably one of the most critical pieces. If that doesn't happen, it doesn't happen.
It is, and we have so many conversations with clients that at the beginning of the conversation, there's some fear, there's some concern, there's some uncertainty whether or not they think they can qualify, and then by the end of that 20 or 30 minute conversation, we hear this all the time. Oh my gosh, I feel so much better about
Right.
my ability to go do something. Maybe it is 6 months or 9 months down the line, but I feel better about my ability to buy a home, and that's not painting blue sky. That's just mapping, like you said, mapping out an actual roadmap to get to your goals and your dreams. And so I think let's touch on this. When is a good time for a buyer to start the process? Let's say they are a year out, or I just signed a brand new lease. My lease is up in 10 months. Is it
Yeah.
too early to have a conversation with the lender?
It's a great question, and my answer is no. It's never too early. And the reason of that is because some of the pushbacks we get of like, I'll talk to a borrower, and they're like, "I'm just not ready to apply yet. We're going to go looking for homes first before I apply." And I usually ask, "Well, what's your concern of waiting to just fill out the application so we can look under the hood and see what we can provide you?" And some of it's like, "Well, we're not ready to pull credit." Well, good. Our counter to that is no worries. It's a soft pull. It's not a hard pull on your credit. It won't affect your score, but it gives us your preliminary credit report so we can run scenarios for you because we know now what pricing bracket you're in. And the other one is too, I just don't want to provide docs. No worries. At least fill out the application so we have an idea of what your income is, what your budget is, what your assets are. And then, for us to get pre-approval, we will need those docs, but at least we can have the conversation up front with you, that initial consult.
Yes.
Um,
Well, and so many times to your point, we get the objection. Well, my income's going to go up in 3 months or 6 months, or I'm going to change jobs in January, or what have you. All those are good things. We've got to know that ahead. We should know that
right,
ahead of time because when you switch employment, when you switch jobs, your pay structure matters. So, is it going to
right,
be all salary? Is it going to be, oh, I'm going to this all commission job? It's going to be amazing. I'm going to double my income. Okay, well, we may not be able to qualify you on that future income because it's variable. So the future aspect, the things that are happening 3, 6, 9 months down the line in your life could very well impact your ability to get a loan, even though you might believe your situation is going to be better. It just may not fit into the guidelines of how to get traditional financing. So we need to
right,
have those conversations early. And sometimes there's a lot more stability there. Hey, I've been at my job 17 years. I'm on salary. I've been renting the same place for 4 years. I'm just tired of renting. I want to move out. I've got 20% down saved. Okay, that's perfect. That's like the perfect scenario, right? Most of our clients that we talk to do not have that type of stability or down payment saved or what have you. Like they're going to put 3 or 5% down or 10% down. Their incomes change, their jobs changing. So all those variables come into play let's have that conversation early rather than later.
Yeah, and reality is too is it takes 5 to 7 minutes to fill out an application
True.
on your phone through the website links that most lenders have. So it's not like a lot of work, right?
Yes.
So there shouldn't be, in my hope, I don't want to create a hesitation for people to apply. I was like, go ahead and apply. Even if you just want to have a conversation with a lender.
Yes.
It doesn't hurt to call them, email them, or even fill out an application. As long as you know they're doing like a soft pull, it's not going to hurt anything. And they're not charging you any money. We don't, our branch
No
doesn't charge
costs.
for credit reports up front. Those are only when you close on your loan. A lot of branches do that. Some do charge up front, just so you know, a minimal fee just for your credit report. But there are plenty of lenders that don't. So there's most of the time $0 and 5 to 7 minutes of your time to apply, and then the conversation,
That's right.
right? And then you're having that amazing conversation that really gives you assurances and gives you peace of mind.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you are having your realtor conversation and you tell your realtor, I've already talked to a lender, they've already pre-approved me. That is music to their ears.
Yes.
You know
Yes.
what I mean? So it's like, oh my gosh, you've done your due diligence. You're honoring our time together because we know we're not looking at things that aren't, too idealistic, but they're actually practically you can pay for. So,
Right. And why is it important for the buyer's agent to have that pre-approval? It's important because when you go make an offer on a house, the listing agent and the seller are going to want to know that you can actually perform
yeah.
on the closing and meet the closing date and perform. I always talk to the listing agents during that offer process. So the offer goes in. A lot of times I'm able to connect with the listing agent and have a conversation and say, yes, I've met with Mr. and Mrs. Smith. I have gone over their financial documents. We've got an updated approval for them, and we will close on time. That level of clarity and certainty to a listing agent super, super important, and will help you get your offer accepted. Right? If you don't have that in place and it's loose, which right now we don't see a lot of that happening. We don't see buyers out there trying to put in offers without having the lending approval in place. It's just when are we starting that process? And I think it's never too early. So we kind of started this podcast saying how to start, when to start, where to start. And I think the two ways of how to start would be, like you said, fill out a quick application, get a soft credit pull, and have a conversation with the lender. You can
Yeah.
also reverse that, have a conversation with the lender,
Right.
build some rapport there, some trust and transparency on the process, and then you can apply. Either one of those works. And most of the time for us, it's probably conversation first, and then our clients apply. Although we have some great referral partners who are real estate agents who will let their buyers know this is the lender that I recommend. Here's their website. Go ahead and apply. And so occasionally we'll get applications come in. We've never even talked to these buyers before. So it gives us that jump start. And now the first conversation is we have the credit scores, we have the income, we have the assets, and we have more of a picture to put together, more of a roadmap
Right.
with the documents. So that's kind of like how to start. And then when to start, we touched on, hey, it could be after you're already under contract. If you've already found a house, gosh, now you got to get a loan. But most of the time it's 1, 3, 5 months before you need to buy, 8 months, 12 months. You said you could start a year out.
Right.
My lease is up next summer. Great. Let's have a
Yeah.
conversation and talk about it. And then I think the win, that was the win. And then the where to start is find a lender that you can work with. Find a lender that you trust. Find someone who's reputable. Find someone who will help you and be an advocate for you and help you roadmap this path to home ownership.
Yeah. So if you're out there and you're renting and someday you want to buy, it never hurts to find a lender is going to do a soft credit pull and just apply with them to start that conversation, to start that initial, road mapping of what's the best scenario for me to own a home financially.
Yep.
And we go over that with people all the time. So our goal is to not have people hesitate to apply and really get the best scenario for them right up front of what they can afford.
Yeah, there's just no two scenarios that are the same. And that's really what makes our job, I believe, so fun and fulfilling is really putting those pieces together, putting the puzzle together. And then just had a closing this morning. And when it all comes together, right, and you've got a client that's closing on their dream home, it's exciting. And so we want to help you get there.
And if you are wanting to close a home in 15 days or less,
right,
please watch the podcast episode 11. how to close in 15 days.
That's right.
There's a lot of good information. So I know we're talking about like, 1 month, 8 months. No, we can do it really fast when you're already prepared.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
we're here for you. I feel like
We covered quite a bit.
covered a good
Yeah,
amount.
I think that we've got some future episodes coming about the market changes. We're seeing a big uptick right now in buyer activity. We have seen interest rates come down. It is entering into the fall season, so it's traditionally not as busy of a buying season. However, that's changed because there's folks getting off the sidelines from the higher rates and realizing that, okay, the payment is more affordable now. And so there's a lot more activity, and we're excited about that. So we'd love to talk to you. Thanks for tuning in today, and we appreciate you supporting this cause.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.